On today's episode of Every Single Morning, we're going to discuss favorite things from our childhood. Why don't you come and join in and tell us about yours in the comments section? All right, let's do this right here on Every Single Morning. Welcome to Every Single Morning. I'm Tanja,
I'm O'Shea.
and we are so grateful that you're here with us today. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. Yay.
Yeah, we need to get us an applause emoji.
Yes, we do. We can play some applause sounds so
Yeah.
that we can have an audience of our own.
Yes.
So today's topic is, what are your favorite things from your childhood? And this is a very broad and general topic because it can be a number of things. It could be anything from your favorite TV shows as a child, to your favorite foods, to your favorite places to go as a kid. It could be many different things. It could be a favorite item of yours that you used to have as a child, or a favorite toy, things of that nature. So it's many things that we could wrap up in this discussion about our favorite things from your childhood. So I'm going to start off asking Shay, what are
All
your
right.
favorite things from your childhood?
I have several things from my childhood that are very memorable. One that is at the top of my list is Inspector Gadget. I loved Inspector Gadget. I had to watch that every morning before going to school.
Hmm.
I had to watch it because him and Dr. Claw were my favorite rivals as a kid.
Oh gosh.
I really enjoyed watching that. Not to mention how he would get himself into situations that Penny would have to get him out of. Um, and his um, his equipment was cool too. I always wanted a hat that could turn into a helicopter. Not those ones that they made with the little headed,
Mhm.
that wasn't gonna lift me off the ground and let me fly. I wanted to be like go O'Shea's helicopter, you know, and I could just fly in the sky, because that would work out great for when I wanted to visit you in New York, or I wanted to visit somebody. Just go O'Shea's helicopter, and I could skip American Airlines, Delta, and Spirit. I could skip all of them and just my helicopter and my hat. So I really enjoyed that as well. Also, another show that I really enjoyed, um, Knight Rider.
I like that too.
I would have loved a car that I could talk to. Consequently, you can talk to your car now, but it will not. I don't think it'll come to you. It'll unlock certain things in the car. But I like the fact that he could be anywhere in the world and just tell his car to come find him, and the car would find him.
The Teslas are now doing that.
Oh, okay. Oh, so I need to get me a Tesla. Do they drive for you too?
Yes, actually, once you put it on,
Oh, so
it's
you
a
so
it's a
you now.
step up from cruise control, and the car can drive itself.
Okay, so hold on. Here it goes. um, for only $85 a month, you can help me get a Tesla.
Oh
We really need that because I want to go around the world. I would like to go somewhere without assistance. So donate now. We're gonna have a Tesla share-a-thon. Just
no. Hilarious.
because I need the car now. We gotta have the car now because I didn't know you could do that with Teslas. So we our first project as a church in 2020 is Tesla. We going for Tesla.
That's so hilarious.
We're going for it. The Lord wants me to have it.
Oh Lord.
And so be looking out for my Tesla. Be looking out for my Tesla. God gonna bless me with it. God's gonna bless me with a Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
All because I love Knight Rider. So anybody want to sponsor my Tesla drive? Just know we good. You can be a part of my Tesla campaign today, not tomorrow. Another childhood favorite of mine was there was this stuff called goulash, and it was
You like goulash?
well, goulash. I don't know what it is to you, but goulash for us was a mixture of fruit and whipped cream.
Oh, that's like ambrosia.
And how it started out for us is I remember my ex-wife's mother, that's what she called it. But when I was a child, my mother just called it a mixture. It's what we had in the kitchen. That's what it was called.
Well, the technical term is ambrosia. So it's a combination of fruits mixed with whipped cream, or in most cases, Kool-Aid, and they just mix it up.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorites. And still to this day, I love some peach cobbler. I love some peach cobbler. And then I ran across something the other day that I realized that I ain't had in a while. Well, actually, a while ago, I ran across something. Twinkies.
Twinkies.
I hadn't had a Twinkie. I don't know since when. But I was on Grubhub the other day, and I was like, "Oh, my childhood, a Twinkie." I didn't order it, but it brought back memories.
But at least it was an option.
Yes. So, and something else that was a part of my childhood, Zingers.
I love Zingers. Those are my favorite.
So,
What flavor though?
Huh?
What flavor?
Lemon.
That's a good flavor.
Lemon. What flavor for you?
Vanilla, ironically.
Vanilla?
Chocolate would be my favorite, but no, it's the vanilla. The vanilla and the orange. Those are the two that stood out for me.
Okay, this is a no judgment zone. This is a no judgment zone. I got the lemon, you got the vanilla.
Cool beans.
And so in the comments, we'll find out if there is any of our viewers that has a different flavor.
Yeah, there's so many flavors of zingers. So, or if your other treats, comment in the comment section. Let us know what your favorites are.
Okay. So, what about your childhood, Taja?
Hmm. I'm going to break mine up into three categories because I didn't realize I had so many. And especially after our conversation, along with my sister, my bestie Cheryl, I'm going to break mine up in three categories. One will be TV shows. The second one would be food, and the third one would be toys slash items from my
Mhm.
childhood. Toys slash items. So, as far as television was concerned, the shows that stood out to me, especially when I was a kid, you would think it would have been Sesame Street. No,
No.
it was the Electric Company.
What?
Yes, the Electric Company. That was the show I grew up on.
Okay,
And
you have to, because my mind is.
yes, yes, that's way before your time. We know. But
So
those
let
of
me
us,
know what the electric company was about.
the Electric Company was also a PBS show,
Okay.
and it used to come on before Sesame Street. So the Electric Company predated Sesame Street.
Okay.
And basically, it's the same premise as Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
The difference was instead of it being on a street, it was in another neighborhood that was multifaceted, had it was multicultural, and Rita Moreno's character would always come out and say, scream, "Hey, you guys!" in every episode. So,
Oh wow.
but yeah, so that's
Okay, well I'm glad because I was over here thinking you had childhood trauma. Like your mama made you your favorite show was the electric company, like
that
the
is too
real
funny.
electric company.
That is hilarious. You can actually find clips of those shows right here on YouTube. All you have to do is just pull up the
I'm
search
actually,
engine.
hey, I'm actually gonna look at. I'm actually gonna look at it.
Yep.
I gotta see this.
And just type in the Electric Company. You can find some of those clips and episodes, some of them, not all of them, here on YouTube. So you get to be familiar with what I'm referring to. Another show, and this particular show predates me,
Mm-hmm.
but I used to watch it anyway because it used to be a rerun for me. But I still watch the show because it was groovy to me. I don't know why. It just was. And the show was called New Zoo Review. And this was a show that took place back in the late 60s. Again, predates me, but they showed reruns of the show. And
Mm-hmm.
every morning I used to get up at 5:30. And that's what time this show used to come on, 5:30 in the morning, every day. So I used to watch this show, and that's the first thing I watch before I get dressed and get ready for school. And basically, New Zoo Review is basically, you could tell that whoever wrote the show was on an LSD trip, but it was still cool nonetheless. But they were definitely on an LSD trip. So you have a young man named Doug and his helper, Amy Joe, not Amy Joe, Amy Joe, specify that. And then you got a frog, a hippo, and an owl who's going off to these massive adventures and things of that nature. So that was the premise of the show.
Wow.
So that was my favorite show. The final one, as far as the show category, it was a local TV show. It was only shown in New York, and I used to grow up with this show. And I honestly, even when they did a reunion, I was actually excited about the reunion at my grown age.
Oh wow.
And when they did their brief reunion, I was like, so, and it's called The Magic Garden. And the Magic
Okay.
Garden was these two women who would be in the garden. One had a guitar and the other, and they would all sing. Both of them would sing throughout the course. You have different characters popping up in the garden, and
Mhm.
they go off on these adventures throughout the garden and always solving problems and riddles. And that by the end of the show, everything was hunky dory. And then we sing the end of the song. And I
Okay.
always remember the themes, the ending of the show, because that's the part that they are remembered for the most. So yeah, those are my three shows that I remember from my childhood.
Oh wow.
So so that is as far as TV shows. Food. So cinnamon toast, not cinnamon toast crunch. That came much, much, much later. Cinnamon toast.
Mhm.
So everybody has their version of making cinnamon toast. Some people will just take a plain piece of bread,
Mhm.
spread butter on it, and sprinkle it with cinnamon and sugar and bake it off for a few minutes.
Mhm.
What my mother did, she used to take the cinnamon and sugar, mix it with the margarine, spread it on the bread, and bake it in the oven for a few minutes. So that's what I used to eat when I was a kid. That was my favorite. It's still my favorite to this day. And every now and again, I will take that same cinnamon, sugar, and butter recipe and I will spread it on other things like crescent rolls, like um, other breads, biscuits. It's really good on biscuits, things of that nature. So I will take that same concept and put it on other types of bread. So,
Mhm.
in fact, if anything, that cinnamon toast recipe, I remember that that was what we contributed to my class's first grade cookbook.
Oh wow. So y'all had a cookbook that y'all had to make.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So other kids had stuff in their cookbook, like the ambrosia that you mentioned. Somebody mentioned that in the cookbook.
Oh
Some
wow.
fruit salad, and some other types of toast, things of that nature. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So another thing was this is not a struggle meal. This is my childhood. Now, some people who are listening to what I'm about to say, you may think it's a struggle meal. To me, it wasn't a struggle meal. It was for childhood. Yes, we did grow up poor, but I'm
Yes,
saying it was
we did.
still my childhood. So I just need to put that disclaimer out there. All
It's
right.
the it's the preferences for me.
Okay. Syrup sandwiches. Now, hear me out. I was hungry as a kid and I
I was
was a
wondering.
latchkey kid. Okay. My mom used to work. I used to come home and I was hungry. So I would take some of the bread and some of the margarine, spread it on the bread, don't toast it or anything,
Uh-huh.
on both sides of the bread, and pour syrup on both sides of the bread, put it together and make a sandwich. That was my syrup sandwich.
Okay.
Again, that's my childhood. It's not a struggle meal.
It's
Childhood.
okay. It's okay. It's gonna be fine.
So, and my final thing, and they're all bread related. I mean, look, I loved bread. Okay, bread was my friend. My friend was bread. Okay, me and Wonder got along very well.
Me and Wonder.
So
Wonder Bread.
Wonder Bread.
Oh.
So my final childhood memory was cheese toast. Now, I could have made it into a grilled cheese sandwich. It wouldn't have been hard, especially being a latchkey kid. It wouldn't have been hard. And plus, I learned how to cook since I was 8 years old. So I could have made it a grilled cheese sandwich, but I didn't. For some reason, I'm not a fan of American cheese. I like cheddar cheese. I really liked government cheese. Shows you how old I am.
Oh wow, you like the government?
I actually liked the government cheese. My body didn't like it after a few days, but I liked the government cheese. And yeah, it did have a hard time melting, but when it did, it did. So we used to take some of that government cheese, and I would put some margarine on the bread, take a few slices, cut because the government cheese came in a block, a big old block.
Yeah.
So I have a small block cut and divide it into both sides of the bread and bake it for a few minutes. And there you have cheese toast. And when we did have money to actually have cheese, we would get the cheddar cheese. So cheddar cheese works best with cheese toast, as far as I'm concerned. That's how I feel about it. So, final thing is the toys. I only have one thing to mention in this category. One thing. No, two. First thing was the Rubik's Cube.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved the Rubik's Cube, even though I was only able to complete one side. I was never able to complete the entire cube, though. Never able to complete the entire cube, but I did love playing with the Rubik's Cube. It kept my mind going and it kept me busy. And I used to have the keychain version on my keys. So every time I got bored, I always played with that Rubik's Cube keychain.
Okay.
So, and the final thing, and I can't believe I lost it. That could have been a collector's item by now. And I could have made a buku amount of money off of it through eBay. But it was my Wonder Woman lunchbox.
What?
Yeah. I used to love that Wonder Woman lunchbox. I only had it for a brief period of time because majority of the time I was eating school lunches. But I did briefly have that Wonder Woman lunchbox. I don't know what ever happened to it. I don't know how I lost it. I never asked my mother about it, but I will say I did have a Wonder Woman lunchbox.
Oh, wow.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Those are it. So as far as toys, what were your favorite toys or items from your childhood?
Well, I would definitely have to say Etch a Sketch.
I love the Exo Sketch.
And one of those things that they used to call like because there was this one thing that was like a pad of plastic that you could write on and
And then you
draw.
lift it up and it erases.
Yes,
Yes, I used to have that too.
I used to love that thing. And then there was this doodle thing it was blue and white,
Hmm.
where you could make things just by the turning of the knobs. I think that's the doodle thing that I was talking about. But
Yeah, because there was an Exo Sketch, which is the red one. The doodle. My brother actually had the doodler.
okay,
On the that's the blue one, and it basically the Exo Sketch you had to shake it to erase it. The
yeah,
doodle one they had a separate pin that was attached to the
yeah,
thing, and you can draw on it. And then when you're done
mhm,
with it, there was a bar that you could swipe.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, that's the doodle. I forgot the full
yeah,
name of it.
yeah. I used to love those. I used to love those. And then there was Power Rangers. Me and my brother was really into Power Rangers. Actually, we had a fight over Power Rangers.
Oh wow.
Because I was the Red Ranger, he was the Green Ranger.
Hmm.
Um, and my mom bought us these walkie-talkies that that were shaped in the like the heads of each of the Rangers. And he got mad at me and threw mine downstairs.
Oh no.
So what I was like, okay, well, I'm finna let your Green Ranger have it. I'm gonna set it on fire.
Oh no. You didn't set it on fire, did you?
No, I didn't set it on fire because I couldn't find the matches. But if I could have found the matches, his was good as gold.
Oh no.
But I did throw his down the stairs.
Oh no.
However, I was able to go get mine. He was not able to go get his because there was a truck coming.
No.
There was a truck coming at the time that I threw his downstairs. So he had to watch his be destroyed.
Oh, that is so wrong.
And he told my mother, O'Shea threw my walkie-talkie downstairs, and he just sat there and watched as that truck destroyed us. I said, well, you should have never threw my Red Ranger downstairs. If you hadn't threw my walkie-talkie downstairs, then I wouldn't have had to let your Green Ranger have it. And he was so upset with me that he was like, you gonna tell mama to give me another one for Christmas. And I was like, I'm not telling mama nothing. I'm not telling mama nothing. You deserve what you got. And he was like, well, tomorrow I'm gonna let your Etch a Sketch.
Oh no.
And so we had a war of the toys. And then my sister decided to get involved with it. And she had a dollhouse. My mom had bought her a big old dollhouse that stood in the corner. And she was like, yeah, you did my brother wrong. And you going to do right by him for Christmas. I was like, well, forget both of y'all. And so I got mad at her, and while she was at school, I took the top of her dollhouse and threw it downstairs.
Wow.
And this time, I took the paint that maintenance was, because we lived in these apartments and they were repainting the apartments. I poured that whole bucket of paint over her.
No. You mischievous child, you.
And they were, and she was like, the top of my dollhouse is gone. And all I had to say was, I got a whooping for it. But I was like, all I had to say was, next time, stay out of things that don't involve you. So those were my favorite things that was ruined by them, but I didn't take kindly to it. I did not take kindly to it.
Wow. That's deep. That's really deep. Was there a favorite place that you used to go to when you were a kid?
Um, well, there's a favorite place that I used to go to that I still like to go to, even as an adult, but we're shut down, so they're still in business, but I'm not able to go there. But as soon as we open up, I'm going. I'm
What
going.
place is it?
It is First. It is First. And the reason why I used to love going there as a kid is because my uncle, who passed away, he always used to take us there every Sunday. And that is where I first started to learn how to be an adult. That and CC's Pizza.
Mm.
Because he would take us to CC's Pizza, and he would take us to First, and I can't forget about Golden Corral.
Of course, Golden
He would
Corral.
take us to Golden Corral also. And just whenever we went out to eat, we had our own allowance that he would say. You had to pay for your own meal. You had to pick what you wanted, pay for your own meal, and there were things in your within your allowance that he did not pay for anything. He taught us to pay for everything because I stayed with him and his son, and he taught us to pay for everything. And if you spent your money, you just didn't eat because
Explain, explain to the people what First is for those of us who are not familiar.
First is a restaurant that it's a local restaurant. Well, I don't know if they might be in other places, but for me, it's a local restaurant in Dallas that we first started going to when I was a kid, and the reason why I like them because if you ordered a root beer, they gave you the root beer in actual beer containers or what looked like beer containers. So you were able to look like you were drinking without actually drinking. Because I always wanted to be an adult. So I always wanted to be an adult. So needless to say, I would always order the root beer. I want a root beer. Couldn't stand the taste of root beer when I was a kid. I like it now, but it's not my drink of choice. Shout out to Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper. Uh, but I didn't like it, but I liked I like the packaging that root beer came in at that restaurant, and I like their steak. So if you could imagine a 7-year old with a steak and what looked like a beer, so that's what that is. And Golden Corral is the same thing.
Okay.
And I like CC's because CC's was cheap. CC's is what little C CC's was what Little Caesars is now
Mm.
because you can go there for $5 and you could eat whatever mixture of stuff you wanted, even if it didn't make sense. Like one time I had chocolate pizza. Don't ever do that to your body because I put together some mixtures that was like my stomach said that was a real bad idea. And you're about to find out in about 2.3 minutes.
Mm, mm, mm.
So I loved going there and for when I was in elementary school, that was a real quick way I could take the ladies out on a date because I knew it was only going to cost me $5 and I could make you feel special. And I'm like, I got you, I got you, I got you. But if you ask to go to like Golden Corral or First, no, those were sacred spots. You wouldn't go in. But I like those restaurants. And then I will say another one that is ruined for me now. That was my favorite spot here in Dallas because this is where, for the most part, where I grew up. For the most part, where I grew up, in going into like from 7 years old to whatever age I am now. So, um, it was the West End, and the West End here it had an arcade. Um, it had an arcade. It had movie theaters. It had UPN 21. Shows you how old I am. UPN 21, and a whole lot of production studios were down there. And so, like, if I wanted to go into like, um, I didn't know anything about it then, but like, if I would have wanted to go in and do a production, everybody would go down there to do like professional productions and things like that. And I used to peek in the window because you're talking about a 7-year old that was thinking about a 5013C. Like I want this and this is what I want to do with my business and at 7. so so I would peek through the window of places like that and then I would go to the arcade and my aunt would take me to the arcade because I would have frequent accidents as a child. And so, but if I was able to manage, like, say, go through the week with no accidents or anything like that, she would take us to the arcade for the weekend. And so I would literally get out of my chair and get in the little car thingies, drive the cars and all kinds of things. It was just a whole lot of fun down there. Of course, we were told not to feed the homeless people. But even then, and my mom and my aunt still don't know this to this day. So exclusive. I would still drop them food, because I met this one guy. His name was Larry, and Larry was my favorite. I used to always say, "You hungry, Larry? I got you some food. I got you some food. I got you some food." And he was like, "No, little man, that's your food." And I was like, "No, I bought this specifically for you." And
You said
so,
specifically at 7.
yes, I had to say specifically at 7 because my mother was very specific about saying your words correctly. You will not have a speech impediment. So I said, "I bought this specifically for you." And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Larry, take this food." Larry, take this food. And my mama would always ask, or my aunt would always ask, or my grandmother, whoever took us down there during that week, because sometimes we would go with my grandmother, sometimes we would go with my aunt, and sometimes we would go with my mom. She said, "Where's your other food?" And I'm like, "Oh, I had to throw it away." "Really?" "I gave it to Larry." So there's that. So those are my favorite places.
Cool beans. I only had 2 favorite places to go when I was a kid. Here in Brooklyn, there's only one mall, and that's Kings Plaza Mall.
Okay.
So Kings Plaza was definitely the place to go, and my mom used to take me over there to get school clothes. Back then, it was Alexander's.
Mm-hmm.
When my brother was going to school, it was J.C. Penney, and
Oh, wow.
we would go get our school clothes, stuff like that. Um, we would never leave the mall without going to Sabaros for the lasagna because that was my mom's favorite thing to eat over there. My favorite thing to eat was the pizza. The lasagna was good back then. Now it's atrocious.
But
But
she put an emphasis on that back then.
back then, because Sabaro was the joint back in the day in New York, but now forget about it. It's on the bottom of the list. It's on the bottom of everybody's list. But anyway,
Really?
yes,
Wow.
the pizza was good too, but not anymore. Um, so we would always go to Sabaros for something to eat, and we would always go to the cookie house to get a half a pound of chocolate chip cookies because they go by the pound.
Wow.
So we always get a half a pound. We never got a full pound because my mom thought it was too much money for some cookies. So we always got a half a
Wow.
pound. So, but we're talking about half a pound between 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about at least what, approximately 3 to 4 cookies per person?
Oh, wow.
So anyway,
And the pound was gone?
the half a pound was gone. When I started making enough money when I used to do the summer youth employment program here in New York, I used to make my own money. I would get
Mhm.
a pound of cookies.
I'm getting the pound.
And those cookies would last a little longer than the half a pound, that's for sure. So we
get
would
the
not
fact.
leave the mall without those items and without my Munchos, because at that time, Munchos, you would only been able to find Munchos at the newsstand before you exited the mall to go to the bus stops.
Oh wow.
So I always had to get a bag of Munchos. So, and that's why I still love Munchos to this day, because that's my memory. So, and the second place was the arcade. So there was this arcade that used to be right next door to Burger King. And it was a kiddie park. It was considered a kiddie park. So it was a kiddie park in the back, and it was a arcade in the front. So all the older kids would be at the arcade. But in the back, there would be mini rides like a mini roller coaster, a mini thingamajig that you used to spin around with the twister or stuff like that. So they were all kiddie rides. So we used to go on the kiddie rides. And yeah. And even when I became a teenager, we went back to that same place so that my brother can be able to experience that as well. So he got a chance to experience the kiddie park while I was playing in the arcade, and I was playing my Turbo and my Pac-Man and
Oh wow.
a few other things. And we had actual tokens. So we would go to the thing and use the machines for tokens. And yeah, that was my joint.
Pac-Man was the thing too. Although I didn't like Pac-Man because I always got beat. So
Yeah, because it's that joystick. You have to work that joystick. As long as you know how to work the joystick, and you know, especially going up those crevices, maneuvering that joystick is everything.
yeah.
So
And that's the thing. That's the thing about me. If I can't win, I don't like it.
yeah.
I'm that kind. I know it's wrong, but I'm that kind of person.
Well, I had a wonderful time going back down memory lane. So, and basically, this episode would not be complete if we did not do our due diligence and let you know that this is now the opportunity where you can make Jesus Christ your Lord and Savior. So, if we go to Romans chapter 10, verses 9 and 10, it says that if you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For with the heart one believes unto unrighteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. So basically, we just ask that if you are ready to receive Christ as your Lord and Savior, then just say the following: Lord Jesus, come into my heart. I make you my Lord and Savior. Please change my heart and my mind, and I receive you always. Once you say that, then you are part of the kingdom, and we welcome you, welcome you, welcome you.
Welcome you.
So, get into a good Bible-based church. I'm not trying to sound like Joel Osteen, but here we are. But if you cannot find a Bible-based church, then, by all means, come to ours. You can find us at www.outpouringoflife.com. Our resources, our information, and everything that you need will be right there. But because we love for O'Shea to be extra, O'Shea, tell them where they can find you.
Well, you can find me everywhere. I'm everywhere books or so. I mean, I'm everywhere on the internet. You can go to my TikTok right here. Don't you just love it? You can go to my Instagram. You can go to the church's Facebook page, and I would mostly, here goes my Sherathon voice. I would mostly appreciate it if you would join O'Shea's Social Clubhouse. I have 14 subscribers. And if you would join, it could be 15. It could be 16. It could be 17. Go to your computer right now. Go to your computer right now and subscribe. So those are all the places that you can find me. Tanja, where can they find you?
Well, all of my social media handles, my books, my other podcasts, the realities of being single, and so much more about me can be found on my website at www.tanjaewithers.com. Everything that you need to know about me is there. The only thing that you will not find is my TikTok. So since I don't have a lovely banner like O'Shea has, I'll just use this for the meantime. So you can find me on TikTok at Tanja_E_Withers. And I'm pretty active over there. So you can definitely find me over there. And while you're at it, since O'Shea wants you to subscribe to his channel, as you should, you really need to subscribe to this channel as well. Because we've looked at the analytics and we see that there are people who are watching but are not subscribed. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to the channel. So by all means, while you're here, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Tell us about your favorite childhood things. Tell us about, give us a thumbs up while you're at it. Let us know how we're doing. And most importantly, subscribe. That's like coming into the church and not planting a seed. But anyway,
it's illegal to eat, not
exactly. But we thank you so much for joining us today. And most of all, tune in next time. And we will be here on every single Saturday morning. Here on every single morning. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.